Big difference is, of course, the fact that Juggernaut has a pretty much free lane, thanks to the support of the Chen behind him. Oh, are they going to be able to slow him down enough? Focus running through. Leave me alone. Will try and say hi, but it's going to be resolution. Burning to a crisp by Focus. Gets himself to level 5 in the meantime. Leave me alone trying to burn up Spartan. They will lose the Shadow Fiend towards mid. Young G finds himself Wish. And they will actually not even get the Chen because he just TPs all the way back to base. And survives that nicely and easily. Stomane in trouble. Young G is still chasing. The root's going to come out. Will Young G... Yeah, he does have enough mana. But he's not actually going to hunt further for the Doom. Doom, with a decent amount of regen, especially if you've got yourselves a Devour Creep inside you, should be just fine. Nonetheless, Wish has been taken down immediately counter wards because, well, I guess the enemy had vision of him farming up some creeps. But bots are going to be his first item, so he's going to be a little bit more mobile around the map. In the meantime, Focus is solo bottom lane because, well, the Chen still has to run all the way back towards the lane. Focus, Ring of Regen, healing ward, which is still going on. Leave me alone using Icarus Dive. This is very problematic for the Phoenix. And he gets taken down. Oh, that is... that's a big mistake by Lil. 1k net with advantage secured right now for Brame. Not looking too bad. Juggernaut going for the Battle Fury rush. Not, yeah, I mean, that's kind of, it's either that or you would go for the Maelstrom / Mjolnir build. But Battle Fury gives you the advantage when you're hitting Terrorblade and he has like a lot of illusions around him that you're at least going to cleave every single time onto him and anyone that's in the near vicinity. So that's a big plus. The main reason I would say, especially, it's same with the Beastmaster with all his minions around him. If you Omni slash him but don't have a Battle Fury, it jumps over towards the board. You don't do no damage in your Omni. And the fact that you farm like 3 times as fast at that point. Though bottom lane, there's going to be a move coming forward. Quap jumps in. Young G Sonic Wave is going to find the kill onto Focus. And that is a good rotation coming out from the Queen of Pain to make sure that that Juggernaut's not going to get the lane of a lifetime. Meantime, Skylark level 7, Stomane and Skylark looking for Vanscore, and they do find him. There's going to be the catch, and most certainly the death of Vanscore was very much in an unfavorable position, and Skylark gets the kill secured. Grimstroke, they also managed to take out the tier 1 tower top already, so that's another big plus. In the meantime, the same thing is going to be attempted by Hellraiser towards bottom. Roar onto the Chen. Level 5 Chen, not yet there for his big boy ulti. Lil is going to get spinned upon by Focus. Omni Slash is available for Focus as well. And Rezo's going to go for the TP. Will get the TP out to safety. So a 1-for-1 trade. But Focus at least manages to defend the tier 1 tower and keep his Omni Slash still to himself. Well, Focus, Battle Fury is not going to take too long to finish up. Oh, that's a great one. Chipfest is absolutely wonderful for a anyone that's attempting to farm the jungle. I really think just slightly faster. And it's going to be a 3 bounty rune pickup on the side of Brame against the singular bounty rune for Hellraisers. Oh, towards bottom. Focus does have the Omni, but there's the Chen, and Skylark is nearby as well, so they have to be very careful here to not walk out of position. I mean, this is honestly a good Grimstroke game. Stroke of Fate is superbly powerful against both the Beastmaster and the Terrorblade, plus the fact that Soulbind into the Phantom's Embrace can be absolutely massive to silence the enemies up and make sure that they can't disengage. There's going to be a Doom thrown out to control their opponents. The finish should be coming in momentarily. Young G does have a Sonic Wave, pushes them back, gets himself the catch onto Stomane, and Focus on the other end, running away. The Soulbind double Doom does not really get all the kills. It's so close to dropping. They are going to stay alive. How are they surviving with no HP? Lil even kills off Focus in the meantime. This is absolutely baffling. Everyone, you could even look at them funny and they would die, but they managed to keep 4 alive on the side of Hellraisers. And they win the engagement in the end. Soulbind Doom has been expended. Yes, the Phoenix Egg on the other side, but still, nonetheless, Hellraisers come out of that fight with a victory.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Spartan on the run. Not much he can get done without any TPs. He's going to try and turn it around onto Lil. There's going to be the Icarus dive, but Spartan is just going to get right-clicked down by Resolution's army of minions.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And the tier 1 tower bottom lane is going to get picked up. Hellraisers, they pretty much almost even out the net worth advantage again. And stay fairly close. Terrorblade being top net worth of the game, not what Brame, of course, want, but you can't really interrupt the Terrorblade out of the jungle that easily.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
Stomane almost has his Blink Dagger available. That's not bad for a 4 position Doom. Of course, does farm slightly fast. Actually, he only has level 1 Devour, surprisingly enough. Would have expected a little bit more. But as you can see, our partners over at Gamdom do favor Brame ever so slightly. So the odds have shifted in their favor a little bit more. Well, honestly, with the way things are looking, I gave them my prediction at the start of the game. But I'm kind of inkling towards Hellraisers right now on the first map. I think that Terrorblade getting such a good amount of farm, I think he's actually going to get really fat in no time if they're not careful. It is Kuman on that hero that they have to contend with. Fanscore is going to tank the smoke gank. Sacrifices his life to make sure that no one else from his team gets caught off guard. And that is a full 5 position stream. They got vision from the Hawk that was sent in by the Beastmaster. And that's also the big plus that you have when you're playing on the Hellraiser side. You've got that Hawk. You've got the extra vision gain from Hellraisers, the advantage on the map. Juggernaut Battle Fury is very close to being done. It is still a pretty decent timing. But he'll most likely need another item before he's going to fight. I would say, well, they don't have a silence. Orchid is actually getting close for the Queen of Pain, so he might just go for the Manta style to get rid of the silence. So he can spin if necessary. That or the SNY. SNY is really an item that almost everyone is picking up these days. And Hellraisers managed to take the advantage. Bounty runes are about to spawn. Will it be 2 for 2? It does look to be that case. Actually, no. The steal coming out from the Queen of Pain, Young G, makes sure that it's a 3 for 1 bounty rune pickup. Hellraisers, I mean, this is all just looking mighty fine for Hellraisers right now. 1k net worth advantage has been picked up. They do have Doom with the Blink Dagger available, and they are hunting for kills. But they also need to make sure that they're not only hunting for kills. And if you don't get kills, then that's such a massive amount of time that you waste that you could have been farming. So that's the big trade-off that you're making. As you can see, no one from hellraisers is towards top. The entirety of hellraisers is either mid. Well, it's actually, they're all mid, pretty much. And Focus just trying to farm up. In the meantime, tier 1 tower towards mid is going to get taken down in favor of the Hellraiser side. And that opens up the map massively. With the bottom tier 1 gone as well, that means, well, the tri-camp area is not easy accessible because the tier 1 tower is still top. But it does open up the entirety of the Hellraiser jungle. Sorry, of the Brame jungle. Bots and Yules for the Shadow Fiend. So he's got enough. Okay, I don't know why someone is tooting their horn outside, but okay, that was weird. Grimstroke E-Blade. This is pretty much the same item build as a mid Grimstroke would go. E-Blade Rush. You get a quick Soulbind, double E-Blade. Yeah, they're just gonna get melted. Plus, it's a good save. If necessary, not the best, because they can, of course, purge it off with the Oracle and with the Beastmaster. But the Roshan is being attempted at the moment. Slight little tickle towards Roshan. But the moment that Hellraisers come and peek, they are going to back off. Because in the Roshan pit, you've got that Phoenix Egg available for the Dire side. And you drop it behind the Roche pit, nothing much they can do to get rid of the Phoenix Egg. We are 17 minutes in, and we've seen a total of 14 kills. Not very active-oriented right now. Though, of course, it is mainly the Terrorblade on Hellraiser that wants to farm the rest of his team, just playing distraction. The smoke gets popped. They're hunting for Rezo, but the guess is incorrect. And it is going to be Rezo running away to safety, and the rest of Hellraiser as well. That's 3 smokes that Hellraisers have used, and they've only got... Brame has used, and they've only gotten a single Oracle kill out of them. Hellraisers is doing an exceptional job at just playing Brame apart. Now, Focus is second in net worth, but of course, at the top of the board, it's going to be that Terrorblade with a 2k net worth advantage over his direct counterpart. And that is most likely going to excel as well, grow into an even bigger lead, unless Brame start catching some players off guard. Maybe, just maybe go for the tier 1 tower so that you can invade into the Hellraiser's jungle. Chen very close to the mech. Big heals. I mean, team fight versus team fight. Both sides have a ton of heals and saves. No, actually, Spartan is the main healer. And well, the healing ward as well. Plus the added aura from the Chen to increase healing. And Lil is greedy for gold. It does find a couple of those Chen creeps and will just walk away. Spartan is going to have to find those new creeps in the jungle now. And he is sad. There is not a lot happening in this game. Oh, Icarus dive gets interrupted. Lil in trouble. The stomp from Spartan is enough to secure the kill. And that is a big mistake from Lil, getting a little bit too over aggressive on his positioning. The odds over at Gamdom do incredibly favor Hellraiser right now. 1.18. Oh, if you do believe that they're correct, or do you think that it's going to be Brame to take back the lead and take this game? Don't forget to hit up Gamdom with plenty of different games like Slots and Crash to keep you entertained. There's so much to offer. Just like that tier 1 has been offered to the Brame gods. But if you prefer watching the action, Gamdom also offers match betting to earn cash on your favorite teams. With great rewards, cashback, rakeback, periodical, free coins with Gamdom's Rain feature, and King of the Hill events, Gamdom is the place to be. Sign up with code TEB on gamdom.com or go to gamdom.com/r/TEB. In the meantime, Roshan being attempted here by Brame. Smoke up from Hellraisers, but this is all just a bait to catch out the Hellraisers players out of position and focus. He's with the double damage rune running out. They get the soulbind onto two. The signs is there. The double doom. The catch comes through. The Terrorblade, however, pumps out damage and owns Stomane. However, there's the Omni Slash. Kuman, he needs help. He needs support. He is gonna sunder Vanskor to try and still have the Phoenix Egg. Stuns up the Juggernaut to keep him at bay. Focus doesn't have too much to play with right now. The heal from the Chen is not going to be enough to keep Focus alive and kicking. Stomane bought back, but the Terrorblade still pumps out damage like there's no tomorrow. Kuman going heavy on this fight, and they even silence finish off Wish. A gigantic team fight engagement in favor of Hellraisers. And in towards the Roche pit they go. 3k net worth advantage should end into a 4k net worth advantage with, of course, a free Aegis to be secured. Absolute. Oh, okay, a buyback came out on the Beastmaster, but who cares if you win the fight like that? It is a 4-for-1 trade. Sorry, 5-for-1 trade. I forgot, of course, that the Doom died a second time. And yeah, that's definitely worth the buyback usage. They started the fight off so nicely as well. They got themselves the Quap out of the fight, the Beastmaster, before they get the Roar in, but they just wait long enough and they get it done in return. Queen of Pain going for the Lincoln Sphere is a very good, useful tool for himself, but can also use it on Kuman if someone's going to jump Kuman, if he's got those quick reflexes, with Young G, of course, does tend to have. And Kuman is now 3.5k ahead of his direct counterpart. Plus, as you can see, once the Omni Slash has been used and the spin as well, not even, the spin doesn't even matter for Kuman, he completely destroys the Jug. And that's why you should never take the game to... Well, you should actually dominate the early game against Terrorblade, because that's where he's weakest. He's building up the Ayascati next, which is going to give him a ton of stats. They've got the False Promise available on the Oracle again. Saves are there for Hellraisers, and they might just say hello to the high ground. With, of course, the ultis, the big Doom ulti on cooldown on the side of Brame. They're forcing TPs back to base. They still have the Aegis on the Queen of Pain as well. But they're going to back off on Hellraiser's side. 4k net worth advantages. I mean, 23 minutes in. 4k is not too much, but it is looking pretty good for Hellraisers in the grand scheme of things. Lil on that. What items does Lil have? He's 7k on the 4 position support. And the Doom is really not farming at all, Stomane. Quap is going to get Jump Centaur Stomp. Does not connect. Kuman pops his Metamorphosis. Unfortunately for him, will not be able to get the good connection. There's going to be a Shadow Fiend, Requiem of Souls, but the Roar from Rezo to hold him at bay and finish off Wish. Wish no more. There's going to be a charge in, and it's going to be Skylark blown to smithereens. Young G gets the kill with the Orchid Blast. And they get themselves the tier 2 tower mid as well. High ground push coming in momentarily. Kuman does need to be a little bit careful. There's going to be a jump in to keep the enemies at bay. Quickly make quick work of Spartan. High ground push is very effective for Hellraisers. And yeah, this might just be the tier 3 tower. Maybe even the melee racks picked up by Hellraisers. This game turned upside down, inside out in a matter of seconds. That one fight towards Roche snowballed into absolute disarray for Brame. Well, bounty runes have spawned. Stomane going for the second one, but might just get caught off. And there's going to be the Doom dead. Not much more he can get done. He tried to gain a little bit of extra cash for his team, but will have to pay dearly for that attempt. Focus going for the Mjolnir. Needs some extra attack speed in his Omni Slash, and also the lightning procs are pretty decent against the Terrorblade, you would think. But Terrorblade, fairly fat. And the game gets paused. Vanscore Oracle will hopefully have a issue that can be resolved momentarily, but it is an 11k net worth lead right now for Hellraisers. And they're looking pretty much okay in the driver's seat. Well, more than just in the driver's seat. Queen of Pain is even ahead of the Juggernaut right now. And as you can see, the Terrorblade is 5k ahead of his direct counterpart Juggernaut. And Focus is not really in fighting condition, as the Terrorblade, all he needed was 2 items. And then he's ready to rumble. Oh, Focus. The Roar is available. The Hawk scouting it out. Actually, Wish is spotted first. Unfortunately, Rezo not done the Aghanim shot just yet to send the Hawk where he needs to send it. They're going to go for Wish. And Wish tries to Requiem himself out of there, but he's going to get mauled down by Young G, who's then immediately chasing it after Focus. There is a little bit of backup behind. Jump coming through to try and keep the Queen of Pain at bay. Load to Sword from Lil is in the game, and well, the Load Sword is actually like the biggest counter to Brame's lineup. You can accidentally doom yourself, soulbind your own team, silence yourself, or even the worst possible move ever, which would be let the enemy Omni Slash onto your face. Queen of Pain BKB almost is actually done. Is going to get delivered soon for Young G. A second set of racks is looking to be in the works here. Aegis did get reclaimed on the Queen of Pain, as we did here and see just now, and the high ground push continues. The off lane Grimstroke doesn't really have the same impact as a mid Grimstroke normally tends to do. Kuman getting blasted a couple of times, but the heals are more than plenty on the dire side to keep him alive. Terrorblade actually has the Aghanim Scepter, though. He went for the Ags instead of the Ayasgati. It's also HP that he gains, but it's the Terror Wave that's the biggest threat. If they walk out, if they think, oh, he doesn't have himself his Metamorphosis, he pops it 10 seconds. Free-for-all brawl for him. It is going to be the melee racks picked up. Double damage in the river. And Hellraisers. I mean, they just walk in and pretty much get away with murder. Top side, there's going to be Wish. Requiem of Souls attempt, but the Yule Scepter to make sure that that's not going to happen. Young G's got the silence. And in the tree line, that is Wish no more. To be fair, that Shadow Fiend's been having a dreadful game. Young G on a godlike streak on the Queen of Pain. And Lil doing absolute work. He's now just behind his own Beastmaster in net worth. Omni Slash onto Rezo. He will get taken down quickly and successfully. Double damage for Focus as well, but Omni is now going to be on cooldown. He's actually going for the Aghanim Shard so that he can also deal damage, right-click enemies while he's spinning. Spots the courier. Nice little courier snipe. They will lose Skylark in the meantime, and Focus is just chasing after Lil. There's going to be the Phoenix X, so he cannot TP out just yet. Is he going to be in range for the Phoenix X explosion? Matstal runs out of range for the time being and will be able to spin TP to safety. A nice attempt there by Lil, but unfortunately not enough to secure the kill. They kind of need the Beastmaster's Roar to interrupt the TP. Or they need the Terrorblade to just kill him in the time that he's trying to TP. Which could also work. In the meantime, Shadow Fiend, yeah, I wish he is going for the BKB next, but it just feels so underwhelming, the performance he's had on the Shadow Fiend. 2-5-1. He's the one that had to make the plays. They got kited so much when they were going for those 3 smokes that cost them so much time on the side of Brame. And in that time, Terrorblade just got uncontrollable. Kuman waiting for Roshan to respawn. Spartan getting spotted out by Lil. And Lil is getting antsy. Lil is looking for some extra blood. In the meantime, Skylug needs to be careful. The silence is there. Spartan Chen finish up. Young G yoinks that kill right in front of Lil. But Lil is doing... honestly, Lil is at the moment doing so much work for his team. Pretty solid performance. I've always been a big fan of Lil. As a player. Stomane has a Shadow Blade on the 4th position Doom. Smoke is going to get popped. They should know that there's a player right behind them now that the smoke is broken. And they just realized that the smoke got broken, so there was someone nearby.
That is too good.
But Megas is almost picked up in the meantime while they're trying to actively hunt for the Doom. There's only a range Rax at the bottom lane that, of course, Kuman can just walk to, say hi, hit it 3 times, and it's gone. In the meantime, you do have a Juggernaut from Focus, Loadsword, make sure that Kuman cannot get Omni'd. And there's the Blade Fury Aghanim Shard for the Juggernaut, so able to do a little bit more damage while he's spinning around. It is going to be Stomane taken down by Lil. And the illusions are pretty much almost nearly enough to get the final kill. There's the jump onto the side. Skylug is going to get blown up. Does buyback to rejoin the fight. But the Sonic Wave pushes them back. Soulbind in return. E-Blade onto 2. Not that it does anything. Rec Room of Souls on the backline by Wish. But there's the Terrorize in return. And he absolutely blows up Wish. With the last remaining 2 Radiant heroes alive, there's going to be the Omni-Slice bouncing around. It will find the Queen of Pain. And Lil is dropping low. Focus is going to spin onto Lil. Will find himself a double. And keep himself and his team alive. But of course, the big issue that we see right now is the fact that they're up against Megas. 32 minutes in. Yes, their lineup can deal-ish with Megas. Well, Juggernaut can deal with Megas. Chen slightly as well. But Roshan is also up for the taking, and if Focus finds that Roche kill, that might actually turn things around. He's going for the Rapier. If he gets himself the Aegis Cheese and a Rapier, Omni-Slash could do it. He's level 25 as well. But he literally hits him, Roche, one time, a little tickle, and then falls back the moment that I think the Hawk just died from the cleave damage. And the fact that he can't really do it on his lonesome. Well, he can, but the lanes need to be pushed out, and, well, it's kind of obvious that he's inside the Roche pit at that point. So, in the meantime, it's going to be hellraisers walking into Roche themselves. A 21k net with advantage for them. 33 minutes in, and an Aegis Cheese should not be that problematic for Kuman to secure, especially with the Beastmaster right behind him to try, well, to melt Roshan. Slowly but surely, they will be able to obliterate it and pick up the desired items. Kuman, Cheese, and Aegis. It's going to be Stomane caught out by Rezo. That Doom and I would say those two have been really struggling this game. Wish and Stomane. They still have the Roar available on the Beastmaster as well. So Juggernaut needs to be careful. Metamorphosis is used by Kuman. And the high ground push, well, the finishing push will possibly come in there. Heavy damage onto the Chen, but the Glimmer Cape keeps him going. Lil with the Icarus Dive, Phoenix Egg. They can't really right-click the Phoenix Egg. Soulbind is going to hold Juggernaut in place. There's going to be the Jug dead. Does have a buyback. Phoenix Egg is going to explode. Stomane tried to blink in, but the Phoenix Egg damage and stun is going to hold him at bay. Wish with the Requiem of Souls forces the rest of Hellraiser's back, and buyback coming out from both the Juggernaut and Rezo on the Beastmaster. The tier 3, one of the tier 4, sorry, is down. There's going to be Kuman with the Terrorize, but he can't find the targets that he's looking for. And quickly getting rid of all the other constructions in this Brame base. False promise on Kuman, but folks gonna go for the Omni Slash. The center stomp onto 2. The Omni Slash is successful, gets himself 2 kills. The buyback coming out from the Lil Phoenix. But they're holding on for the time being. However, they don't have Skylark available. They don't have Omni Slash available. They just use their ace in the hole, and it is completely gone. Mega's hitting Ancients. Kuman is dropping low, but still has the Aegis available, of course. The GG tree even being dropped down. It is going to be folks trying to get rid of Kuman, but the Ancient's just going to be the main target. And that's going to be Hellraiser securing game number 1 against Brame. The early game did not go as well as I would have hoped for Brame. I would have expected them to get some catches, but honestly, great job from Hellraisers. They completely dodged 3 smokes in a row. That's like 2 solid minutes of time that has been wasted in the early to mid game. And that's the moment where they were the strongest. The longer the game lasts, the stronger Hellraiser becomes. And at one point, it was just too much to handle. But of course, that is only the first game in this best of 3 series. Brame definitely have a chance to get back in this one. We'll be back for game number 2 after a short break. where you one-shot, for instance, a Morphling. We do see Brame picking up the Enchantress this time around. Instead of the Chen, Enchantress is a little bit stronger than the Chen, I would say. But there's going to be the Tidehunter on Hellraiser's side to deal with, well, the Enchantress. Yes, Enchantress can actually bully a Tidehunter still out of the lane, but it's a lot harder than it would be against most heroes thanks to Kraken Shell. And, well, pretty much thanks to Kraken Shell.
5 seconds remaining.
But it is a lot of healing on Brame's side so far with the Enchantress, with the Death Prophet. So maybe get something either that builds like an Ayaskadi, Ayaskadi maybe. I mean, A is always a hero that springs to mind when you're trying to counter out healing, but A is such a drastic move that it mainly only gets really picked up against Morphling.
Radiant team banned.
Timbersaw banned. Well, if they'd laid the Timbersaw against Tide, that would be absolutely disastrous. Terrorblade gets taken care of by Brame as well. No more Koom and TB. These are all respect bans coming out.
Team banned.
Puck. Well, Young-Ji is a pretty solid puck. He actually surprised me on the Queen of Pain performance in the previous game. A lot better than I've seen most of the Queen of Pains in this current patch being played. Darkseer, another hero that could be fairly hard to deal with if you get a good Darkseer in the game. I mean, the vacuum into wall is still fairly dangerous, and you can, of course, buff up heroes like the Ursa, which would be a very good lane against the Tidehunter. Monkey King also good. I mean, they haven't banned on any of the heroes that are good against the Tidehunter, aka Monkey King, the Slark, or the Ursa. Well, there's still a couple more. Gyrocopter, for instance, doesn't really care that much about the Tidehunter either. And a decent amount of other heroes in the mix. The one big thing about the fact that Tidehunter is being picked up more at the moment, I think, is the fact that there is one less hero that has a break effect. Tidehunter's Kraken Shell is like his biggest plus. If you break the Kraken Shell, Tidehunter is a very easy target to take down. And Nyx Assassin normally got picked up as a counter to the Tidehunter, but now that Nyx Assassin doesn't have a break effect on his Vendetta anymore, Tidehunter all of a sudden spikes up in the pick rate. And in general, it's a pretty strong laner. Deals with most melee heroes except for those three that I did just mention.
Dire team pick.
And the Beastmaster banned out by Hellraisers. Okay, they're banning out all the offlaners that Brame could pretty much go for, though they could easily make the Death Prophet offlane if they want to. And say, joke's on you. I am very blurry right now. Hopefully the camera will refocus in a sec.
5 seconds remaining.
Hellraisers, they kind of still have a little bit of flexibility. Could even put the Tidehunter mid, though I don't really think Young-Ji is a Tide mid player. But it is always a possibility if the enemy picks Broodmother mid. I don't think Wish plays Broodmother mid, but he definitely does play Tinker mid, so I would assume Hellraiser is going to ban out Tinker at one of the last heroes that could be possibly picked up. Or they must have a solid Tinker counter, like a Kunkka, which both teams definitely do play. Time ticking down for Hellraiser. We've got a minute left on their reserve time. Actually, Brame only have 50 seconds left on their reserve time. How are they going to finish this draft? You've got one side healing, and that's Brame's side, and the other side team fight, which is the line plus. Okay, Void Spirit. Void Spirit is an active hero, so that means that they're going to have to be a little bit more active this game than they would be in the previous game. It's kind of a hunter. Clockwork. Very strong, possible 5, 4, or 3, though, as mentioned, can be all three of those positions. Could swap the Enchantress to the 4th position role and just have the Battery Assault hammer the Tidehunter, for instance, in the safe lane, but I would assume it's more of a 4 position for Stomane, and that they run the Spartan 5 position enchanters with the Death Prophet, one of the cores, but which core is it going to be? Is it going to be a mid or an off lane Death Prophet? Because the thing is, Void Spirit's plus is the fact that he can just dissimulate and get away from the Death Prophet, but on the other hand, Death Prophet has the silence to make sure that he doesn't do that. However, in the laning stage, Void Spirit should have the advantage over the Death Prophet unless he makes a big mistake. Not that you necessarily can kill off the DP that easily. DP is almost always just really tanky. Well, really healy. Void Spirit is also a hero that could build the Shiva's Guard, so healing reduction, a big plus for Hellraisers. Earth Spirit. A little Earth Spirit 4 position. Probably. I mean, don't really expect a Young G mid Earth Spirit. But yeah, mid Void Spirit. Most likely offlane Tide, first 4 position Earth Spirit, 5 position Lion. Very good lineup, team fight lineup, a lot of magic damage for Hellraisers, and they've got superb lockdown.
Radiant team back.
Ursa, not a big surprise there, counts as the Tidehunter. Then again, they cancel. Well, you know, you could swap the Tidehunter technically towards the mid and put the Void Spirit off lane, which is doable. Probably more favorable in this case, but that means that they can just swap the Ursa towards the mid lane, and then we're gonna have the lane wars swapping, where you have like your off laner swapping with your safe laner, swapping with your mid laner the entire time, which, well, does make it, you know, one of those classic Scooby-Doo scenes where they all dodge each other. PL banned out by Brame. And Enigma taken care of by Hellraiser. So they are expecting the Death Prophet to be a mid DP. Troll Warlord gets taken care of because, well, Troll Warlord is also a counter to the Ursa. Juggernaut not great against the Ursa to begin with. So Hellraiser's Kuman, what are they going to go for? Could still slark up, but they have last pick on Hellraiser, so they can always just pretty much adjust to whatever Brame choose to go with for their last heroes. They have decent healing, but I do think that Hellraisers have a lot more sustain when it comes to a team fight, plus the fact that they have Earth Spirit and Void Spirit, very evasive heroes and hard to catch and to control mainly. But they have a lot of catch themselves on the Hellraiser side. Of course, Brame has one big, fat, absolutely massive advantage, and that is Roshan. They've got the Ursa for Roshan, they've got the Death Prophet for Roshan, they have push with the Enchantress Death Prophet, so they have the objectives plus for Brame. Is that another offlane Grimstroke? Or are they going to put the mid Grimstroke? I think it's a mid Grimstroke. It's very good against Void Spirit. Mid Grimstroke, offlane Death Prophet, Clockwork 4, Enchantress 5, Ursa, safe. I do hope that it's a mid Grimstroke for Wish. Because Void Spirit's good against physical damage, but not so much against magic damage. Yes, you can dodge it, but it's a very small cooldown on it. Anti-Mage picked up by Kuman. I'm not a big believer of Anti-Mage in the current patch. Especially not against Ursa. Ursa completely annihilates Anti-Mage. It is Spartan on the Enchantress. Clockwork position 4. So it is a Grimstroke core at least. Focus safe lane Ursa. And now the big question is who's going to be picking what. It is Wish on the mid Death Prophet and an off lane Grimstroke. Okay. With their lineup picks like that, Clockwork, Grimstroke, off-lane Grimstroke again. This time around, even though I'm not a big fan of Anti-Mage in this current patch, I definitely think that Hellraisers have a stronger lineup in that regard. I'm just not really feeling the Clockwork Grimstroke. I mean, Grimstroke mid, I've seen a lot of games win, but that's because they get a very early E-Blade and pretty much dominate the game from that point on. With later on, like the Agnum Scepter, which is really good against an Anti-Mage. But in this game, and well, in the previous game, off lane, Grimstroke doesn't get as much farm as the other one would do. It feels like Hellraisers are faster with their heroes around the map. Like, there's no mobility hero on Brame, whereas Hellraisers have got 3. They've got the big team fight advantage. A ton of magic damage. Later on, a ton of physical damage as well. I kind of really dig Hellraiser's draft here. But, of course, hey, it's anyone's game. It depends on how the laning stage is going to go. Ursa can destroy the Tidehunter pretty much easily out of the lane, if he so pleases. But yeah, Hellraiser's 2-0 seems, in my book, reasonably likely. Though, of course, Brame, not a team to take lightly at all. And also not a big fan of anti-mage, as I previously mentioned. But they do have some decent combos here. Once Battle Fury, Abyssal Blade, for instance, gets picked up with the Soulbind double Abyssal Blade hit, which would be, of course, great. That's about it. That's like the entire Grimstroke combo. Enchantress double enchant slow, I guess. But yeah, Hellraisers. I really feel like the Grimstroke offlane is out of point this game. In the previous game, I got it because they were up against the Terrorblade in the lane, and Grimstroke is good against Terrorblade. It's good against anything that summons a lot of stuff, like illusions, heroes, illusions or creeps or whatever. But in this case, they don't even have that. There's not really that much reason to go for the Grimstroke. The only reason I can see is to make sure that those mobile heroes from Hellraisers do not get mobile at all. Like Soulbind, it's the main reason I see it work. It would be possibly picked up.
It's just not fair. It's just not fair.
And we have a smoke gang coming out from Hellraisers to start the game off with. Seeing if they can find a catch. Aggressive observer ward place, but they won't spot each other's observer wards out. However, it does seem to be a... Actually, it might even be more than a 2-for-2 trade for Hellraisers here. Because they get themselves pretty far forward control. Skylark is actually going to say hi to the rune. With the bounty rune, either going to re-aggress to pick it up. In the meantime, bottom lane, the Ursa and the Enchantress are not moving an inch from their position.
Now you're fish food.
Oh, Skylark. That's going to be the stun. That's going to be the control. Skylark boulder smashed. Slowed down. And the mana drain from Kuman is going to get the anti-mage the first blood. Bounty rune wise, Stomane steals the bounty rune away. So it is going to be a 3-for-1 bounty rune trade, I think. So yeah, first blood for Hellraisers, but the bounty rune advantage for Brame. So, well, you can call it equally even. The fact that it's anti-mage is a little bit more problematic, gets him closer towards the Battle Fury, though this is very early game, of course. But you don't want to give the anti-mage a good lane. Impale onto Spartan, he's dropping low. Rezo has the gush. Spartan getting bullied back, but Rezo walks pretty far forward. Luckily enough, there's no Fury swipe stacks going on from Focus just yet. He just went for the Earth Shock level 1. And in the bottom lane, they are fairly low in HP. Kuman's Courier gets sniped by Stomane. And Lil getting heavily harassed because Impetus is... Well, it just does tons of damage. 6-second cooldown, 8% of the distance translated into damage. Even Rezo is not going to enjoy it. But the moment that, of course, level 2 gets reached, the neutral creeps are going to be used offensively. And that's where Enchantress is the scariest. Is that creep, for instance, that does shockwave spams. And also they gain increased auto attack damage. Lil, look at the amount of damage he takes in a second. Spartan, however, he's gonna get gone on by Rezo. In return, Lil gets smacked down. Shockwave plus Earthshock enough to secure the kill.
Hilarious.
And well, you kind of have to fear the Enchantress's strength in the laning stage.
A loss so small, the world will hardly notice.
Stomane taken down by Kuman towards the top lane. Fanscore rolling in, holding Skylark in place. No mana on Skylark is the only issue. Actually, very close to dying. Kuman will heal himself up to stay alive himself. Otherwise, he would have dropped Fanscore. Same thing. But nonetheless, a decent advantage in that top lane for Hellraisers. With the Clockwork following suit. In the meantime, Kuman does, of course, still have some things to fear. Battery Assault can annoy his blink possibilities. He actually, I guess, already has a Ring of Health picked up on the AM. Which is fairly solid to stay alive. And Bill, keep him at bay. Lil being that more supportive play, has actually got himself the Hex as well, but Resolution dropping low. The Tornado chasing him down, and Rezo's gonna get taken down thanks to the slow from Focus. Kill comes in, and this is kind of what you could expect. You pick up a Tide Hunter, but you forget to kind of ban out one of the strongest counters to a Tide. Fanscore tries to get a gank going on to Wish. Rune is going to be double damage topside. Aether Remnant connects, and it's going to be Wish in a lot of trouble. Dissimulate. Wish, will he stay alive? Fanscore, does he have a kick or something along those lines? Battery Assault from Stomane is going to be able to make sure that Wish is going to be just fine, and even healing himself up to be completely Gucci on the Death Prophet. And, well, they're looking for a catch onto Spartan, dropping low, but of course you have Focus right-clicking Lil, and Lil is no more. You can't really go for a fight if you're Hellraisers in that bottom lane. Just don't try to take a kill in the lane where you've got an Ursa who literally just 4 hits anyone who gets close. Try to at least get a little bit of farm and experience, and then that's good enough. You don't have to get aggressive to try and kill the Enchantress. It's not worth it, buddy. It's not worth it. Well, net worth-wise, both teams are still fairly close against each other. Kuman is actually having pretty good free farm in the top lane. Death Prophet from Wish is going for the urn at the beginning of the game. Well, a little bit of extra magic damage that can also be a nuisance against a hero like the Void Spirit. Not very solid against magic damage. The ticking continuing on, for instance, could be enough to finish him off. And of course, the mana regen is always great. There's going to be a gank attempt towards mid. Aether Remnant holds Wish in place. He uses his ulti, and Youngji is going to just go for the TP away from there. But that's the moment that they realize Focus is alone. However, Focus pops his enrage at the right time, at the right opportune moment, to make sure that the Earth Spike is not going to hold him in place for too long. They're going to re-aggress. The TP was cancelled by whoever tried to TP towards bottom lane. And it is going to be Focus dropping low, but Resolution needs to be careful himself. Resolution is dropping low. In return, Focus is going to get the kill. Look for Lil. Finds himself almost Lil. Will he get the last click in? No, he will not, but he's still going to get the kill because the creeps get the job done. And he does die, but he gets a double before he hits the grave. Great stuff coming out from the Ursty Worsty Furball. And yeah, focus. So incredibly close to staying alive, but luckily Lil finishes him off right before he himself loses the engagement. Resolution in bottom, stuck, and that's another death on the Tidehunter. So Focus is having an absolutely big blast in the game, and as you can see, the odds in the screen were favoring, of course, Hellraiser, but that's over the entire series. And net worth is still fairly close. Youngji is actually getting decent farm still. Even the Tidehunter, even though he dies so many times, he's still equal in farm to Skylark. But both safe laners are having the time of their life. Anti-Mage, I would assume they're both going to be building up the Battle Fury this game as well. Rezo even has a bottle just so that he can survive in the lane for as long as possible. I respect that. I RESPECT that. Focus, mana drain, nuisance, but no kill. And yeah, it is going to be the Battle Fury Ursa. So both safe laners are going to go for that long game play. Ravage gets blown. They're going to go in onto the Death Prophet. Death Prophet staying alive for enough time to kill off Resolution. Lil is going to be losing his life as well. Wish is still not dead. The Spirit Siphon is actually going to get rid of Vanscore and keep Wish alive. Gets a double kill and a 3 for absolutely nothing trade-off in mid. Ravage was blown as well. And the Death Prophet all of a sudden creeping up on to the Anti-Mage and Ursa. Gigantic fight victory there for Brame. And that's going to be the tier 1 tower towards mid being pushed in as well with the Enchantress minions summoned. And, well, a fully healed up DP. In the meantime, Lil finds Skylark. Well, it happens. Offlane Grimstroke can get easily caught out. Bottom lane Resolution. At this point, just hit the jungle. But then again, you also don't want to hit the jungle as a tie, because then you're going to start stealing away farm from your allies. Youngji jumping in onto Spartan. But he realizes he needs to get away because Wish is right next to him. And Wish, luckily enough, doesn't have the silence yet. Otherwise, you are in a very problematic situation. Because one silence on a Void Spirit who does not have a Yules could be just an immediate kill. And Lil gets completely crushed by Spartan. Well, Lil not having as great a game as he did in the previous game. This time around on the line, had a pretty tough lane to begin with. Ursa's not really fun to lane against. And the Enchantress, even worse.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant are scattered. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Anti-Mage is getting closer towards that Battle Fury. It's still going to take some time though, but shouldn't take too long anymore. And in the meantime, Ursa is now back to top net with the game. Vanscore is going to get hook-shotted, cog blocked back towards the Ursa, and the kill comes in. Looking like a tier 1 tower. Bottom lane is going to be secured by Brame. And they will have all 3 outer towers secured. Going in forward right now. In the meantime, towards mid, it is going to be the tier 1 tower being pushed in by Hellraisers as well, who don't have the same amount of pushing power as, of course, Brame have. The tier 1 tower bottom is gone. So it's 3 towers in favor of Brame against 0 towers for hellraisers currently.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
Spartan, Aether Remnant connects. And Young G will find the finisher there. So finally, they managed to find the 3-kill streak Enchantress. But they kind of need to find Wish, which is the bigger target. But Wish, oh, Finger of Death, do they have enough burst? They ravage him down, and that's the kill onto Wish. That's a big, gigantic kill onto Wish. Finally, they take down the Death Prophet, the 4-kill streak Death Prophet, who also did just use his exorcism at the exact moment he got crushed. And the Battle Fury for Ursa is finished. This is a really, really, really good timing for the Ursa. Pre-13 minutes Battle Fury. That is exactly everything that he wants and more. Fan score getting possibly gone on by Stomane. It's going to be the Battery Assault. Push back. Never mind. Hook shot back in. Fan score. Rolling Boulder going to get interrupted thanks to the Battery Assault. There's going to be control inside the cogs. They will find Stomane, but in return, 2 kills for Brame. Both supports from Hellraisers get taken out. Kuman with the blink backwards. The stroke is actually going to miss Skylark. And Kuman will be able to blink further back behind his own tier 2 tower. Still building up the Battle Fury. It's taking a little bit longer for the Anti-Mage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This is also kind of a game where Hellraisers could do a lot of split pushing with an Anti-Mage and with an Earth Spirit. Void Spirit for Earth Spirit's not really great for split pushing. I mean, he definitely can, but not as solid as a Void Spirit does, who can one-shot a creep wave pretty much.
Illusion.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
SNY next item for focus. That is, well, it's just, you know, a solid item. A little bit of movement speed, a little bit of sustain, status resistance here and there. He already has the lifesteal item, the tier 1, which there's all, I mean, tier 1 items can even be such a big game changer if you get lucky.
Courier has been killed.
Ooh, Rezo's courier gets taken down by focus. Rip the mana boots. Rezo is dropping pretty low. The silence comes out on focus. The Ravage gets blown. Do they one-shot him? The Finger of Death. There he goes. Lil gets the kill picked up. Skylark is in trouble, being hunted by the rest of Hellraiser's. Rolling Boulder is going to connect, and that's going to be Skylark in a world of hurt. Smackdown double kill picked up for Hellraisers, plus the bounty runes to boot. So a little bit of a recovery there. Quickly blow their entire arsenal to get rid of Ursa, but it's not only the Ursa at the moment. The Death Prophet is pretty heavily farmed as well.
Boom, there it goes.
3k net with advantages dwindled from a 5k lead for Brame to only a 3k, and while there is going to be a timing where Anti-Mage is just going to be fairly annoying, Clockwork's going to rush the Aghanim Scepter for the double hook shot, double cog block, which would be, of course, a very long duration lockdown against the Anti-Mage.
Tower is under attack. Radiant structure.
I mean, that's the thing that they need to get done. They need to shut down the AM completely. Age is picked up by Focus. They already headed inside the Roche pit. And actually, Focus is going for the Blink Dagger instead of the SNY finisher. so that he can chase the anti-mage down, so that he can keep on hunting him all the way over. Rolling boulder in. Stomane has a catch onto Vanscore, and they will also find resolution as well. The Soulbind comes in clutch this time around. 17-9. A lot more action so far this game than we saw in the previous one. On the Clockwork, he does have his first piece picked up. Kuman, Manta style, building it up nicely.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Top net worth, but the problem is the Void Spirit's falling further and further behind. Not that, I mean, Void Spirit in general is not necessarily the strongest farmer. A lot of Void Spirits tend to lose their farming potential the longer the game lasts. That might be the case this time as well.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Conga heal.
And that's going to be the tier 2 tower bottom lane taken down. That means they can grab the outpost as well if they hurry up within the next 2 minutes. Make sure that the 350 experience doesn't get picked up by Brame. In the meantime, Brame are still not a tower picked up anyway. Finally, the mid-tier 1 tower is going to get picked up by Hellraiser. Sorry, Hellraiser and Brame, I kind of confused them there. But it is going to be the tier 1 tower towards mid picked up by Hellraiser as well. They're creeps. Net worth still staying reasonably close. Resolution does, I guess, Blink Dagger or something along those lines should be done for Rezo. Yeah, Blink Dagger is being delivered towards the Tide so that he kind of needs to pick up the Blink Dagger though. Come back. Fly to me, you fool. And it is going to be the Blink Dagger on the Tide. He has a pretty full inventory right now. But they are not interrupting the anti-mage's farm at all. Kuman is having a pretty good time.
Is under attack.
Farming away until he finally gets to that point where he can call it a victory. But it is going to be the tier 2 tower towards stop being pushed in by Brayman. They're just cutting off the entire map. They picked up the outpost as expected. And that means that's a lot of experience that, of course, Hellraisers are going to miss out on. Once that 20-minute mark gets reached, they still have the Aegis available on focus. And they're looking to go for the high ground, which has the Exorcism available. Of course, they do have the Blink Ravage combo that you have to be careful of. There's going to be an attempt to keep them at bay for the time being. Soulbind has been used, so this is a pretty good time if they want to take a fight. Exorcism comes out from Wish. There's a double damage rune in the river for the anti-mage. If he picks up the double damage and he goes for the defense, oh, he's so close. He didn't know that there was a DD. This could have been big. There's going to be the Ravage. Blown Finger finds Wish. Wish is dead. Exorcism, no more. Skylark in trouble. Mana Void, boom! Smacks him down. Stomane on the run. Focus is completely being kited around in the fight. They know that he has the Aegis, so they don't need to kill him immediately. Once the mana is drained, it is going to be enough. Now he is in trouble. He already just used his Blink. There's the Aether Remnant to hold him in place. He's going to get rolled upon. He's going to get absolutely annihilated. And Hellraisers gain back the net worth. Well, in a second, we'll be gaining back the net worth advantage after a very big engagement. Turn it back in their favor.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And that's the anti-mage building up the Eye of Sky. Gets himself some stats, plus the anti-healing, which is always great. Movement. I mean, Eye of Sky is just superbly powerful currently. And then afterwards, the butterfly, which forces the Ursa to get himself an MKB. Which he, of course, won't have for quite some time because he kind of needs a BKB, he needs a Basher as well. Probably even Abyssal Blade, to be fair. And he was even building the S and Y earlier. So he needs a little bit more than he would most likely be able to gain in such a short time. Tier 1 towards top taken down, and that is the 1k net worth advantage picked up for Hellraisers. How far is the Clockwork? Oh, his Aghanim Scepter is going to take forever. The Clockwork's not a flash farmer. Is over halfway there, though. That singular axe could actually do a ton of work. Same with the Grimstroke. If Skylark builds up an Aghanim Scepter later on in the game, getting an illusion of the anti-mage that does 150% damage of the anti-mage with the mana drain as well could be super important and a game changer, because it can easily get rid of, like, the lion, for instance. Even the Void Spirit can just die in no time against that illusion. And he is building the Aghanim Scepter on the Grimstroke. He knows exactly what's up. Skylark knows that is the most crucial item to get this game, to counter the AM. And also, it's one of my favorite items to see, because that illusion is insanely powerful.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Kuman gets the bottom tier 2 as well, and now the outpost going to get picked up. Quick smoke out from Hellraisers looking for a fight. It is a double damage anti-mage in the mid lane, but they're looking for the backline jump. High ground ward gets placed. Brame gonna be staying inside their base. There's gonna be a jump onto Spartan, but the attack speed reduction doesn't really matter. Kuman blows him up in no time together with the help of his Void Spirit. In the meantime, Resolution is still just smoked up, ready to ravage if anyone walks out of their base. And the BKB is actually going to be the next item for the Ursa. As expected, he kind of needs to get a, not get CC locked down. They have Aether Remnant, Urspike, the Hex. They've got the Rolling Boulder. Actually, Rolling Boulder. Ravage, Aether Remnant. So many ways of locking down the Ursa. And if you can get rid of them for 10 seconds, it does open up a very big avenue into the fight. They will find, again, Spartan. Though they're looking for Wish, which is the bigger target. Hex comes out by Lil. There's going to be the stun lock, and that is a dead little DP. They are even looking for Spartan, who's going to get rolled upon. Spartan no more. And a double kill quickly secured for Hellraisers. Looking for Stomane, and Kuman almost has the blink further forward. There's going to be the Battery Assault to try and keep the Clockwork alive, but it's not going to be enough. Young G quickly dives upon his opponent and makes sure that the Clockwork is again and as well no more. All the outer towers could be taken out in no time by the rest of Hellraisers. But that Grimstroke Ags is very close to being finished, and that, I mean, that's the biggest saving grace I can see on the side of Brame. That Ags, if he plays it correctly, and of course, the most important thing, if Hellraisers doesn't spot it out, could completely turn the game upside down. Because if they know that there's an Ags, the Dark Portrait illusion, they could also just instantaneously kill it. Because it takes like 350% damage or something. Or 200, I think it's 200% extra damage. But it does also do 150% damage, so in a couple of seconds, if you're quick, you could mow down your opponents as hookshot in onto Young G, but the Clockwork is already in a very unfavorable position. The silence comes out, focus on that Ursa. Doesn't have good lockdown. Roshana's respawned as well. So brame need to push out of their base to make sure that Roshan doesn't get picked up if you give Kuman the Aegis and they also have the cheese. That might just be the nail in the coffin. Not that this is anywhere over. I mean, if Kuman gets locked down, they can easily win a fight. But Kuman is almost on his done with his butterfly. He is at the moment 5k ahead of his direct opponent, the Ursi Wursy Furball, aka Focus. Skylark is gonna have to go nuts with Dark Portrait.
Ageless power is mine.
Rolling boulder in. Haha, Vanscore. A little bit greedy. Smoke up from the rest of Brame. And hellraiser is just gonna back off. They should be safe enough. Actually, yeah, they're gonna head out towards their own jungle to make sure that they can grab the outpost back. If they find Kuman, that is
Radiant's top tower
a
is under attack.
plus, a very big plus, but they need to kind of kill him twice.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And, well, he does have a decent amount of HP. He's going for the Abyssal Blade next. And he's going to get there a lot faster than the Ursa does. In the meantime, Void Spirit has also caught up to the Death Prophet. So he's also gone above his direct mid opponent. There's going to be Spartan being controlled down. Kuman with the Mantis style tries to get rid of everything that's thrown on him. The backline jump comes out. Soulbind is there. But the illusion, look at the anti-mage illusion going ham. He does find a double kill with the illusion, and that is what I'm talking about. The Dark Portrait from Kuman gets so much damage done. Grimstar Groot, he's dead right now, and look at that illusion hunt him down. Look at the damage onto Young G. He needs the Aether Remnant to make sure that he doesn't, well, actually it goes right through the Aether Remnant it seems, but yeah. You get the illusion of the anti-mage, and just a couple of seconds work is enough to quickly destroy their own, well, the heroes on Hellraiser's side. They did buy back onto 2 versus the singular one from Brame, so there is definitely avenues here for Brame to come back with Dark Portrait usage. Again, the illusion, pretty nasty to deal with. They kind of need to get rid of it. Now it's dead. They find themselves against Skylark. Spartan will follow suit, but this is, I mean, you can see clearly that illusion is scary. This time around, it was only the illusion. So no harm for Kuman there. Most of his mana is drained, so he can't even mana void on the AM. But they are looking to push the high ground. Back to protection gets taken care of right now. And it's a catapult wave joining them in mid as well. So that should be the mid set of racks. Most certainly dying without Skylark available. Skylark's the only real big threat, honestly, with the Dark Portrait right now. Especially because Kuman still has 2 lives.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
And there's the illusion going ham, charging in. Ah, scary illusion. Run, 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 run. Oh, Dark Portrait illusion is the scariest thing on the side of Brame. It's kind of glorious, and it's also very sad. But they just... The problem is you can't really wait until it dissipates, because as you can see, if you press onto Skylark for a second, the cooldown is very short. You press on the Grimstone course. Oh no, Skylark, don't walk out! He walks down to the low ground, gets taken down immediately. Buyback coming out. They need him to actually get that illusion going. There's going to be a jump in onto focus. The illusion has been created. Inkswell comes out, and that's going to be the anti-mage's first life gone. Will they knock him down a second time, though? The illusion is ready for action. It is going to be the soulbind, but it doesn't connect to anyone. He is silenced up and running away. Does he get the blink? Yule Scepter to hold him in place. Inkswell not going to combo nicely, and Kuman gets back to safer territories. Double buyback force out on the side of Brame with the exorcism from Wish as well. But again, that illusion. Abyssal almost on. Ursa is going for the rapier. Against the evasion, that is a useful tool to deal with the evasion. It is an all or nothing play from Focus to try and get them back in the game. That comboed with the illusion can definitely kill off the anti-mage. Hellraisers, the big question is, are they going to take a fight earlier, or are they just going to wait until Roshan respawns, get the HGs, possibly Aghanim Scepter or Refresher Shard? Both of them pretty great to have if you get a free Ags on. I actually don't even know what the Void Spirit kind of items are. I would assume he has something along the lines of a Yule Scepter Ags. Kind Observer, could you check out the Void Spirit? Because we've been seeing mainly anti-mage. We all know anti-mages out of this world on the farm at the moment. Clockwork has his Aghanim Scepter picked up, though, so Overclock is an availability. Tidehunter Blink has got himself the Guardian Greaves, so good heal. He's going Solar Crest, just all out to make sure that Kuman stays alive and dandy. What does the Aghanim Shard actually do on Anti-Mage? Oh, they are going to get themselves wishing dead for 90 seconds. That's the dieback. Rolling Boulder comes out. There's going to be the illusion created. Or is it? Illusion's already dead immediately. And this time around, they don't have that hefty tool to deal with their opponent. Skylark, another dieback coming out. GG gets called, and that's going to be Brame taking the L 2-0. Rampage for Kuman at the last final fight with, of course, that rapier in his back pocket. Secured. Thank you very much, Ursi Worsi Furball. Game, set, and match. A quick 2-0 by the side of Hellraisers, and a solid performance at that. Game 1, well, both games actually. Game 2, they had lost a little bit of control in the early game. Game 1, they pretty much felt in control most of the time. But that Game 2, nice team fight top side, and just great ravages. Good catches coming out, and a all-around, I mean, Game 1, I would say, was Lil. Game 2, collective performance with, of course, a big highlight notion for Kuman, who farmed completely to his heart's contempt, and, well, he got himself over 900 GPM. That's a pretty solid performance. But with that, that is the entire, this series at least got done and dusted. We have one more final best of 3 left today. It is going to be Windstrike against the Hellbear Smashers. That will be starting in about, give or take, an hour. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a reasonably lengthy break.